Uh, you on? Okay, it is. All right, cool. Yeah. What's up, everyone? Ding, 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 ding. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll get started here in a little bit. Got some questions I'm gonna answer first. Then we're going to dive into plot leak, which you guys have so much been requesting. But until then, enjoy this lo-fi hip hop. Get your thoughts together. Let's get ready.
Much pain, and I don't know how to not notice it.
What's hurting you?
No, not me. It's them. It's everyone. It never stops. Do you understand?
Shout out hashtag long nights, long nights, long nights. Let me pull the chat up real quick. There's a couple people. Hell of Winterfell, you now have the wrench status. Use it wisely, madam. And you know what, Danny? I'm gonna make you a mod too, my dude. Yeah. Use it wisely. Long nights, long nights. Hey. Maybe like another. YouTube has this new where you're rewatching a live stream. It's the dopest thing. One of the biggest things that you miss out on is the chat. But now YouTube actually plays the chat back while you watch the live stream, so that's pretty dope. Let's do some shoutouts. Let's do some shoutouts to active participants in the chat. Let me take this sip of water. Oh yeah, and by the way, I've just had like a large cup of coffee. So. All right, let's see who we got in this chizat on the chizat. Let's see. Oh wow, I can't pronounce that. Shout out to Agnieszka Janica Struska. I know I butchered that, I'm sorry. Shout out to Amberlyn, Caleb, Kelp for Life, Danny McKay, Dean Maya, Diaper Pine, Dipper Pine, sorry about that. Emma Jane Desborough, Enrique Iglesias, Forrest Blurta, Gerard Leon, Grace's Coloring Corner, Helen L, Itachi Uchiha, Lisa Bland, Mel of Winterfell, Melanie Neal, I guess, I don't know. Nicola Jurikin, Polyester, Robert Rifkin, Sam Doles, the author, Sized Hornet, SpankTube86, nice, and The Last Dragon. Are you Rhaegar, my friend? Are you Rhaegar? Holy sh! Shout out to Nancy Toxstein. We just got a $20 super chat. She says, thank you for that, ma'am. She says, sorry, can't stay. I'll have to catch this after the basketball games. Go Kentucky University. I think that's what KU stands for. Congrats on 30K. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Yeah, we hit 35K yesterday, which is fucking insane. The last time when we hit 30K, I meant to do a video on it, but I didn't. You know, and instead of doing a video for 35K, I'm just gonna start releasing new content. It's time to switch things up. Not that Game of Thrones videos get, you know, old or anything, but it's just nice to have different types of videos to do. Let's go ahead and begin. I'm gonna mute this lo-fi hip-hop, sadly, because I really love it. I could probably play it this whole stream and just get groovy with y'all. All right, here we go. Oh, you guys thought you were gonna be seeing my face? No face today. Actually, you know what, I'll do face cam for you guys. Give me a second. But we're gonna start off by answering questions from my wonderful supporters over on patreon.com. These questions were actually sent to me March 7th. I haven't done a live stream since you guys see what I've been working on. You're gonna be like, oh my god, Sir Hunts, you need 100,000 subscribers. Hell yeah. Webcam is in. See, it's gonna look crazy at first because I'll have to adjust the settings, and there is terrible lighting right now. Video capture device. Oh my god! Jesus Christ. Whew. I was not expecting that. That's like when you you know how when you turn your phone on? What the fuck? Why is it? Come on, dude. I might just have to like not do face cam. This is weird. Okay, yeah. Sorry guys, you got to see me for a split second though. I'm just gonna take that off. It's too distracting, and it has to be configured, and I don't really feel like. Whoa! Oh my god, man! All right, well now that I'm going off the screen, fucking A. Oh man. Let's do this. We're gonna questions first, and we'll. But yeah, like I was saying, we got new content coming. I mean, it's going to be in the same format of my Game of Thrones videos, and Game of Thrones videos are going to be released right alongside those. But I mean, it only makes sense. We have the culmination of fucking almost 10 years of Marvel movies coming together to a head. April 27th. That's the release date for Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, and goddamn, am I obsessed with those movies. I have been since before I even heard or watched Game of Thrones, and I can't wait to finally be able to make some videos about that. Alright, so the first question that we have is actually from someone in the chat right now, Mel of Winterfell. She says, I know the rumors are all a buzz right now about Cersei's body double, and people thinking it's a nude scene with Euron. It probably is, but the way Euron looked at Daenerys and her dragons seemed almost lustful. I wouldn't doubt him trying to get to Daenerys. What do you think? Well, I 100% agree with that statement. If you remember in the very last episode, Euron got what I called a dragon boner when he saw Daenerys land on that dragon. Euron is someone who's attracted to power. So since he's attracted to power, someone like Daenerys, who has not only a massive army, but these insanely huge, massive, magical beast, you know, she's got a lot of power. So Euron is naturally attracted to that. It also helps that Daenerys is as beautiful as she is. So I honestly think that, to answer your question, I 100% think Euron is going to try to make some plays to move towards Daenerys, but they're all going to end up fatal. That's a good way to have him early on betray Cersei, kind of fuck her over. Sorry, and I'm going to be going heavy on the language this stream because, oh man, I don't know. It's a good way to express yourself. But anyway, I totally see him, you know, trying to make a move on Daenerys early on. That screws over Cersei, and then it ends up resulting in his death. Either he dies because Cersei kills him, or he dies because Euron is an idiot and Theon stops him, you know. Let's see. Next question is from Christian. And this is another wonderful Patreon member. I'm not sure if he's here in the chat, but if he goes back and watches this, he'll be able to see it. And his question is, exactly what did the sorcerer need Varys's parts for? Parts in quotation, meaning his nutsack and his balls, or that's the same thing. His nutsacks and his wiener. What was he trying to accomplish? And also, is Little Sam of any importance whatsoever? Might be questions you've already answered. If so, disregard. Well, I have, but I'm not going to disregard your questions, good sir. As far as what was needed, and I've explained this a few times, but I honestly think for the TV show, maybe even for the books, that was just an event that was put in Varys's past that put him on the path that he is now. If that hadn't have happened to him, then he wouldn't be the Master of Whisperers. So I don't know if that'll ever be explained. I mean, we have to be honest. We do know that George has a lot of pages to write. We do know that we haven't gotten a book in a while, and a lot of people think that that means, you know, every single mystery in A Song of Ice and Fire is going to be answered. But that's just not the case. Some of those things are going to be left up to the reader's imagination, just for the simple fact that that's better than actually telling you what it is. If you think that when you read the last page of A Dream of Spring, every single mystery in A Song of Ice and Fire and all of Planetos and everything is just going to be revealed, well, then you're silly, because that's not how George works. You might have to wait another 20 years for Fire and Blood Volume 13 to have all the answers questioned. Like, that's just how it is. As far as Little Sam, that kind of gets into the plot leak stuff. One of the plot leaks that I was going to be covering here in a little bit. But I honestly, what the fuck? Really, dude? Hang on a second. I gotta let my cat in. Yeah, right when I start recording. Yeah, catto, dickhead. All right, but yeah, I don't know. There is a plot leak, and it's a silly one. But in that plot leak, the truth is revealed that the whole motivation behind the Night King and the others, and all of this death and destruction, is because little fucking Sam was stolen from him and taken down past the wall. Now, I had theorized on this back when Season 7 first ended, and that was kind of like a what if, wouldn't that be extremely silly? And, you know, I don't know. I feel like it would kind of make sense for the fact that, you know, they really started making moves and kind of making more of an appearance in the TV show after the child was taken. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would just be ridiculous. Like, you could, I mean, if anything, you could just have like another, you know what I mean? You could just, like, I guess it would have to be from Craster's blood. I don't know. I just don't see that. I think that would be really silly. Although there is some plausibility to it. So I hope that roundabout way just kind of answered your question. And it looks like I've missed out. We've had 2 super chats. We got one from Sam Doles, the author. She said, keep up the great work, homie. Well, thank you, madam. You keep up the great work, and thank you for watching. We got another super chat from Lisa Bland, and she says, you do some great stuff for Game of Thrones. Awesome theory crafted. What do you think of Littlefinger and the Faceless Men theory? And for that, my lady Lisa, I'm going to link you to a video I did. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. But in this video, I go over several in-game theories, as well as the one about, I think I had maybe the second or third video on YouTube where I was discussing it. Someone had tagged me in a video that a YouTuber had done, and they kind of like pieced together this theory that basically Littlefinger got away. Like, not necessarily got away, but there's a scene where Arya is eavesdropping on him, and this woman walks up to him, and it looks like he pays her a Bravosi coin, and we all know that's the Iron Price. If this is the place, then we do know that, you know, from the, what is it, the season 5 finale, that Arya, like, it's possible for the Faceless Men to take the face of someone who's living. So if this is the case, that Faceless Men that Littlefinger paid could have taken his face and died in his place, because we do know that Faceless Men are no one, and as long as you pay, you know, the Iron Price or you know, just pay for it, they will, you know, and they're not of, you know, a certain background, so they'll willingly accept death. Where the fuck? This was back from February. Hang on one second, I'm dropping the link in the chat right now. Right, we'll do this. But as far as my thoughts on it, there is definitely some plausibility. Like, or why do I keep saying that word? There is definitely some, you know, some substance to that theory. I honestly think that I hate Littlefinger, right? So there's a link right there. I don't know if it'll let you click on it. Good, but there's definitely some plausibility to that. Like, look, I said the fucking word again. I mean, it just doesn't work out for Littlefinger to go out like a bitch like that. Like, he's a manipulator. He knew that Arya was the Faceless Man, and from the moment he found out that she was, he's already started making plans. That's just Littlefinger's style. He's not one to just sit around and wait for shit to happen. No, he tries to take it into his own hands and tries to make it happen on his terms. So if this is the case, totally possible. The reason why he didn't plead for his life is because the Faceless Man who was taking his place, and this is all theoretical, but the Faceless Man who was taking his place would have not cared about, you know, living any longer. So it was just kind of like, let me just let out this cry or whatever. I don't necessarily think that, like, I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm more like 75% that it's not going to happen. But I still kind of, like I said, I hate Littlefinger, but I want it to happen because it totally fits along with his character. He's literally the cause of all of these events since the beginning of Game of Thrones. He poisoned Jon Arryn. He set in the War of the Five Kings into motion, and he also maybe had a hand in lying about how Rhaegar kidnapped, and I did air quotations there, but how Rhaegar kidnapped Leon. So there is that. I honestly, I don't know. I would love to see that happen. I just, you know, I don't really know if it has too much credibility. Let's see. George Jedi said the Iron Price means to kill and take what you want. Yes, you are correct in that, but I'm meaning like he literally paid her an iron Bravosi coin. Got my words twisted there. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump. Holy shit, we have 130 people watching right now. That's what's up. Fuck yeah. Sorry for my language too. If anyone is, you know, got a little chilled in around you. All right, so look, let's just jump straight into this. You guys have been leaving comments on my videos for like the past 2 weeks now, asking me about these plot leaks that Talking Thrones has done. I haven't watched these videos since season 7 ended. Once season 7 ended, I went back and watched everybody's videos, like the people that I'm interested in anyway, that, you know, made Game of Thrones videos that I didn't watch while I was making them because I didn't want them to corrupt my thoughts or influence me in any kind of way. But I have seen some of his like last, you know, season 7 videos, and there's one early on that he did as a plot leak, but like before season 7 even ended, and I've actually covered that plot leak as well. That one doesn't have any validity to it. You guys are more so talking about his newer plot leaks, and I still haven't seen those videos, but a couple people sent me, as well as posted on Reddit/freefolk, which I think is linked down in the description. I'm not sure, but either way, go on Reddit and then type in free folk and they'll pop up. And this is like, by the way, don't go there if you don't want to know any spoilers, because not only do they post the plot leaks, but they also post, you know, like information that, like, filming leaks and stuff. So just be wary if you go over there. But anyway, shout out to Reddit/free folk. Someone has sent me a message on that, you know, kind of like categorizing some of the plot points in that leak, and I'm actually going to be doing several videos covering those. I'm gonna break them down because they are entertaining. I've read through them somewhat, and they seem to be somewhat of the most legit ones. But either way, this what I'm leading off of right now. This is like, I think, major plot, not major plot, just different points, or I guess bulletin points of what happens in this supposed episode. But yeah, we'll cover that in a second. I kind of want to hop in the chat and see what you guys say about that. Holy shit. We got another super chat. You guys are fucking awesome. Oh man. We got a $10 super chat from Mel of Winterfell, and there is no message with that. Mel of Winterfell, thank you, madam. You're the best. Oh man. I don't know why. I mean, it's nice. Speaking of which, I do need, before we jump into these plot leaks, which I promise you I'm about to do because that's why they're named, and that's why the video's named this. But while I have you guys' attention here, I am actually struggling to get to Con of Thrones this year. I don't know if you guys watched my Jeep vlogs that I did last month, where I was just riding around explaining to you. My Jeep is fucked. Like, I have to replace all of my front end suspension components and all my rear end suspension components. What I started doing was replacing them one by one, but I found out that, okay, long story short, if you're not into cars, but they're in the front end of my car, there are axles that go into a rod, and the rod is the perfect size, but the two axles that go into it aren't long enough. Because of that, like, there's several different size lengths for like transfer cases and all types of shit for Jeeps. The person didn't find the right size axle rod, so it's been slowly bending the entire, like, not the frame yet, but it's getting to the point where it might start doing that. So I've got to take all that shit out, replace it, and I'm probably not going to be able to do it myself because you need tools to do it. So I have an insanely high bill. So long story short, Con of Thrones might not happen this year. I want it to happen, but it might not. I still have 2 months to go, and if I can somehow buy an entire new front axle from the junkyard, which is what I'm hoping is going to happen, if I can buy a new one of those, and that's a simple fix, I can pay a mechanic $500, they'll throw on the new axle for me, bam. The new axle itself might be, you know, anywhere from 100 to 150. I just want to get it off of a Jeep that doesn't have a salvage title. It has a clean title. All right, but anyway, that's besides the point. So yeah, this is the Con of Thrones news. I still want to go. It's still like a 70% chance that I am going, but, you know, bills. All right, so yeah, let's go into this plot leak. And mind you, it is not a plot leak. Take this with half a grain of salt because it's just most likely not true. Although it is kind of fun to speculate on, but like I said, it is mostly not true. Alright, so this is actually episode 3 from these plot leaks. And I think they're originally from a user called Entity, I think. On Free Folk Reddit. It's a user. This guy was the one who actually leaked the script for episode 7 of last season, which was crazy because it was only like episode 2 when he did that. So this dude definitely has some sort of you know, with Game of Thrones, I guess not with Game of Thrones, but he has some sort of, you know, source that he's getting this information from. But either way, one of the first things, oh shit, we got a super chat real quick. Let me answer that before we start. We got a super chat from Trey Benton. And he said, and another one, not but really serious question. Do you think Cersei will make it to the end of the series and that will be part of the bittersweet ending? Hell yes, dude. Like, I honestly think that Cersei living is going to be the end game of Game of Thrones. Like, they've been setting up for that for so long. She's been saying, you know, like, I don't know. It's hard to kind of, you know what? I'll go watch my most recent video other than this one. I actually mentioned in that how I think Cersei living until the end plays a big hand in that, in the sense that everyone else is dead. There's no one to, like, the Iron Throne isn't really a thing anymore, but Cersei is still alive. Like, either she's alive and they remove all of the power for her, because one of the ways to make Cersei human is to put her in a cell. One of the only times I 100% felt sorry for her was when she had the walk of shame, and then, like, in before that, when she spent all that time in the prison cell, she was like, she was still being kind of bitchy, but ultimately the septa broke her, and you could just see this humanizing quality in her where it's like, nah, this is like, you can kind of see a little bit of yourself in her. It's like, if you're a mom in that time period, you lost all your kids, like, no, obviously I wouldn't do half of, not even more than half of the shit that she did. She's a crazy bitch, and they do a really good job of doing that in the show. She's actually not quite as crazy in the books as she is in the show. She's a paranoid cunt in the books, and she's a paranoid cunt in the show, but I'm just saying, like, there are some subtle differences. Either way, I honestly think that I just feel like Lena Headey is such a good actor, and it would just be awesome to either have her in the end to rule everything, or have her in the end and just completely take her power from her. Put her in a cell underneath the Red Keep and just forget about her. That would be the best way to punish Cersei. Honestly, death is too easy of an out for her. You have to, you know, you have to kind of let her pay and suffer for what she did, and the only way to do that is by putting her in a cell. Like, she can't stand to just kind of be forgotten. Death is death, and that's the end. You know, there's like, that's the end of the journey. But if you're forced to live and be faced with the consequences of your actions, that's a far worse punishment, in my opinion. Oh crap, we got another super chat from Helena Von Leinstein. I haven't seen you in a minute. Where you been, girl? She said, throwing around these euros. And much love from Germany. Well, thank you, madam. Thank you very much. I hope... Are you guys getting snow over there? I think I saw a post on Instagram that you had posted a picture of you guys getting a shit ton of snow. If that's the case, well, make a s'more for me. Is it true that s'mores are German by nature? Someone told me that the other day. Like, they were like, dude, you know s'mores are German. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, the chocolate, I know German people love chocolate, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of an American thing, but maybe not. I could be wrong. Answer me, please. And we got another super chat from Hetty Edwards, and there's no message with that. Fucking thanks, bro. We got another super chat from Mac DeKnife, and there's no message with that either. You guys are killing it, bro. You guys are killing it. If you could see my face right now, you would see that I'm blushing. My skin is brown, but I am blushing like a motherfucker. Oh yeah. Oh shit, Kyle's in the chat. What up, Kyle? What up, the nigga Azor Hype? Excuse my language. Kyle says, donation train hype. Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, listen to Kyle. Spam those donations. That's what's up. Thank you, man. Shout out to Kyle. Everybody go check out Azor Hype's channel. That's the boy right there. Met him last year at Con of Thrones. He's a good dude. He's gonna eat some poutine for me. Yo, Kyle, I got a new tattoo yesterday, bro. Got a new tattoo yesterday. Well, no, that's not true. It's not new. I got it touched up. All right, let's get on task here. All right, cool. Plot leak. So yeah. All right, so like I said, this comes from episode 3 of that supposed plot leak, and I will be covering. I'm gonna break down all of these because, you know, you guys literally, it's over 37 comments total that you guys have requested this. So if I don't pay attention to that and I'm not listening to my audience, then I'm an idiot. I'm going to cover those plot leaks, and it's gonna happen. I'm halfway through editing the first one. What I've done is I've switched up the way that I do like video transitions and stuff, and I'm actually using After Effects now to edit my videos. So it's like fucking murder on my CPU and my RAM. So I got a new CPU. I got an FX 8350 Black Edition coming in, and I also have 16 more gigabits of RAM coming in because RAM really helps you when you're rendering in After Effects. RAM is like the big thing, and since I only have 16 gigs and I can have 32 gigs, it only makes sense to kind of increase that. But as soon as that happens, can't wait because, yeah, more videos. Or faster, like faster render time, so ultimately more videos, because I don't have to wait 5 or 6 hours to wait for the damn video to, and it's only 20 minutes. But anyway, all right, so we have, this comes from user Far North, and this was posted on Reddit/FreeFolk. And these were some of the highlights from that plot leak. But yeah, so Jon and Dany get to Winterfell in episode 1, and Jon reunites with Arya, Sam, Ghost, and Bran. That's not even really spoilers because honestly, we all know that, you know, that was gonna happen regardless. Jon and Dany enter without their troops as a sign of peace. Ed dies at Castle Black. I mean, we kind of know Dollar's Ed was gonna die. He's there defenseless, and there's an army of 100,000 dead warriors coming down, and there's like what, 30 Night's Watch members. I feel like what we may see happen is there's a little bit of a time, instead of a time jump, there's a time halt, and Jon and Dany kind of, they get a chance to sort of like reconcile with Sansa and Arya, but ultimately Jon immediately sends out troops to, you know, strategic places at the wall to kind of hold their own. We do know that that's what he did with Tormund. He sent Tormund to Eastwatch by the Sea, I think, in episode 2, before he even left Dragonstone. So this is the type of planning that Jon Snow is going to continue to have. So if this is the case, instead of everyone riding into Winterfell, he's sending a few troops ahead of him to get to Winterfell and maybe help fortify the place. Obviously those troops would have to be, I don't even know. I mean, I guess he could send the free folk because he had them at Winterfell. So yeah, he could send maybe some of his free folk warriors. But we do know that most of them died. And can you imagine if Jon and Daenerys aren't there, and like, let's say like 5,000 Dothraki show up and they're just like, yeah, we're here to help you. Yeah, that would be pretty fucking funny. But I feel like if you're continuing with that sort of plan of theming, or that theme of planning, then Jon would think ahead of, you know, everyone else and kind of plan accordingly. If this is the case, if I were Jon Snow, I would send several thousand Dothraki to the wall. I would, well, obviously Jon can't do that because of the Daenerys' troops, but I would have boat sex with Dany until she agreed with me to send troops to the wall. And then you also have the fact that there's, you know, other northern kingdoms that aren't as well protected. Like, I wish they have a little bit of time to sort of figure all that out and figure out where they need to place their chess pieces before the game begins, but that's not how it's gonna most likely happen. It's most likely gonna open up with the scene of the White Walkers coming in and wreaking havoc on everyone and everything. I see that we got another super chat. Jesus Christ! We got a super chat from Michael Carrasquillo, and he says, how big is it? What? How big is what? My penis? A little bit less than 8 inches, like 7 3/4, if that's what you were talking about. Not quite 8 inches, but a little bit more than average. I don't know if that's what you meant. If you didn't, I completely apologize for mentioning my penis linked in this Game of Thrones video. Let's see. Tormund and Beric get to Castle Black and live through the battle. Tormund goes to Winterfell right away. Beric comes an episode later after helping to burn the bodies of the dead. Now see, that's the thing right there. Like, certain details, this person seems to have extra information on. By the way, shout out to Smokeahanas. I also met her last year at Con of Thrones. She is a queen. Shout out Nicole, what up? How you doing? How you doing? Make sure you go follow her on Twitter and on Instagram at Smokeahanas. Where was that? Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Like, it has certain extra information about certain scenes, but then lack of information about others. And they feel like if they fan fiction it up a little bit too much for the main events, like if you just have, for example, Ed dies at Castle Black. Dolorous Ed has been a major character since, if I'm not mistaken, his first appearance was in season 2. So if this is the case, him dying wouldn't be something you would glaze over. You would have more information about that. How does he die? Does he face off against a White Walker, isn't successful against the White Walker, and then is ultimately stabbed? So like you're lacking information there, but then you have more information for little shit like what was it? Tormund goes to Winterfell right away, and then, you know, it just doesn't make sense why information is more prevalent in certain areas but then lacking in others. Something like the death of a major character, they devoid information from that because they don't want to just be like, okay, that would be too fake. You know what I mean? So it's like they are smart in the sense where they can add in extra information where it's shit that we don't really care about and they can kind of just speculate on. But when it's major shit like a character dying or this army abandoning this army and going to this place, there's lack of information there. So those are red flags to let you know, hey, this is a load of crap. This person is just a good speculator. Honestly, most of the stuff in this plot leak is speculation. You could come to it from process of elimination. It just takes a little bit of, I'm gonna rewatch season 7 3 or 4 times. I'm going to go and watch all the finales from the previous seasons, and then I'm just gonna use that to predict the final season, because honestly the show isn't setting up for something that's not gonna happen. Well, I mean, it does that a lot. The show isn't going to have some insane shit that wasn't already foreshadowed in a previous season. We do know that stuff is foreshadowed in season 1. It doesn't happen until season 5. Like, they plant these Easter eggs all the time and they have them come back and pay off in the end. So if you were paying attention, you can naturally write a good plot leak. So that's what I'm saying. One of the ways to spot a fake one is if you have information missing in key places where it should be. But anyway, continuing on here. Let's see. Many in the North are skeptical of Dany, especially the Lords of the North, and Jon ends up speaking up for her, sort of like lets everyone know, hey, Dany's a good dude, she's here to help us. I had boat sex with her, kind of can't go back from that. Later on, I'm going to find out she's my aunt, so I don't know if the boat sex will continue, even though I hope it does. Let's see, this is kind of a big one. Dany tells Jon she is pregnant in episode 2. So my whole question is the way that Cersei knows she's pregnant, and I've been wanting to say this ever since I read this morning, but if this is the case, and Daenerys finds out by episode 2 that she's pregnant, or she obviously has to find out in episode 1 and she tells Jon in episode 2, I don't think she's going to find out, hold that information, and just, you know, not want to tell Jon. She's going to want to tell him right away so that she doesn't have the chance of having another miscarriage. But the whole point of that is, well, who the fuck is telling her she's pregnant? Like, literally, who the fuck in Winterfell? I guess, I mean, you could argue Maester Woken, but then she would have to get to Winterfell first. It's like, the reason why Cersei knows she's pregnant so early is because she has someone like Qyburn. And I'm gonna be cautious about talking about Qyburn in this video because I had a video that had 30,000 views get taken down by YouTube, and I've still not found out anything about it. They didn't put a community guideline strike on my channel. They just completely fucking removed the video. So I have to be very careful about what I say about Qyburn, because I think the fact that I said Qyburn may have put a dead fetus inside of Cersei's body, and that's going to cause the fetus is going to choke on its umbilical cord and strangle Cersei that way, and that would be the Valonqar theory, because it's technically the younger brother or a younger sibling of her other siblings, so it could complete and fulfill the Valonqar prophecy. I think me mentioning that made people want to take the fucking video down. You know, you got these thousands of sensitive ass people that just get offended by anything. But anyway, I need to tread carefully here. The reason why Cersei knows that she's pregnant early on is because she has Qyburn there. Qyburn is a maester. Naturally, he knows about reproductive organs, so he could probably tell Cersei right away, hey, looks like you're pregnant. Ancient Egyptians used to do something similar where they would have, not something similar, ancient Egyptians used to do this thing where they would have women who they thought were pregnant pee on, I think, a certain type of grain, and if that grain sprouted or if it grew roots or whatever, they would know that the woman was pregnant, because there was a certain chemical that was present in the female's urine that made these plants or whatever they were ferment and start to grow or whatever. So that's, you know, one way, I guess they could do it. Cersei could be peeing on a pile of grains, and if they ferment or if they sprout, then she's pregnant. But either way, who the fuck would tell Daenerys she's pregnant right away? Both sex just happened. You can't, you know, I think it has to, you have to miss like 2 periods or something to actually find out. Like, it takes a while to find out you're pregnant. So if this is the case, then there must be some sort of time jump. That's the only way that this would make sense. It doesn't make sense for any other sort of scenario to happen. So I don't know. But let's continue on with theme. Let's continue. So Daenerys will tell Jon she's pregnant in episode 2. Bran tells Jon he has information for him in episode 2 and 3, but gets interrupted by events. Events meaning maybe Winterfell is attacked. Tyrion, Sam, Bran all together, trying to put all the visions and info from the books together. I don't think that's gonna happen. I do think that Tyrion and Sam and Bran will all meet together. We do know that Sam and Bran met last season, and they immediately started talking about I'm sorry, hang on a second. I just saw a really funny comment. Helen of Online Scene says, yuck, why do you know this? I love ancient Egypt. Oh my god, I've been obsessed with ancient Egypt since I was like in 7th grade. Honestly, since before that. When I saw The Mummy in probably, goddamn, 1999 or 2000 or 2001, when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I love ancient Egypt. And not to mention, I'm the same complexion as Egyptians, so I used to pretend when I was a child that, you know, I had ancient Egyptian ancestry, which is completely possible because my dad is black. Obviously, him being black, he hails from Africa. It's totally a possibility that some of those Egyptians went south of the Sudan and mixed in with certain African tribes. They honestly, I mean, if we're gonna go further down that, they didn't really fuck with what did they call them? Nubian. Like, one of their greatest enemies was the Nubian Empire for a while, until they kind of took over and integrated the Nubians into their society, which is why you have hieroglyphs that show Egyptians of certain darker skin tone. But honestly, they didn't really. Okay, we're getting super off track there, but all right. So yeah. Gary O'Neill, you made me spit out my coffee. What did he say? What'd you say, Gary? I want to laugh too. The Night King can only be killed with the Valyrian steel butt plug. What? Oh man, really? That's fucking, no one saw that coming. Shit, the only way to kill the Night King is to sodomize him. Oh wow, we've gone down some deep shit. Let's back up before, I already know this video is demonetized. It got demonetized before we even started, so that's why I said I can say curse words in this. But anyway, let's get back on focus here, because anyone going back and watching this is gonna be like, dude, what the you talked about the plot leak for 2 seconds out of this whole damn thing. And I'm probably gonna wrap this up right around an hour, so let's do this. All right. First Beric and then Jaime, wait, in episode 3, come to Winterfell and meet and they're met by an antagonistic Arya. Like, obviously Arya is going to be talking mad shit to them. Arya brings Bran to the hall where they were talking about what to do with Jaime. Again, the lords are most antagonistic, some threatening to leave. Brienne defends Jaime and Tyrion worries about himself too with anti-Lannister voices. Guys, I honestly think the safest Lannister in Winterfell right now is a dead Lannister. So I 100% agree with that. If you have someone, honestly, if it was reversed, right? So you have Arya showing up to Winterfell first and then Sansa arriving after that. So let's say that Arya, I guess, would have went to the wall with Jon. She wouldn't have necessarily been able to summon the Knights of the Vale, but the whole battle would have went a different way, and Ramsay would have still ultimately been defeated, and Arya was the one who got to Winterfell first. If this were the case, the anti-Lannister sentiment would have been majorly insane. She would have been actively trying to, if Jon left her in charge, she would have been actively trying to go out and strike Cersei first before Cersei could strike her. So as far as Arya being the sort of like bearer, you could have the role switch. You remember when Arya first showed up to Winterfell, you had those two idiots outside the gate when she first got home last season. They were like, "And who are you?" And she's like, "I'm the fucking lady, I'm Arya." You know what I mean? So it would be funny to sort of have that reversed, and Arya's doing that to the Lannisters as they show up. But like I said, the safest Lannister in Winterfell is a dead Lannister. So I honestly think that they will definitely be having to either walk on eggshells or just won't 100% be accepted in with opening arms until after they've somewhat proved themselves. Jaime arguably has started to. He sent Brienne on that journey. If he hadn't have sent Brienne and positioned her into a place where she could save Sansa, then she wouldn't have done so. Someone like Arya is not going to see that. Someone like Sansa is not going to see that. Really, the only person that Jaime has that can honestly speak up for him, and that person holds enough of a voice for the Starks to listen, is Brienne. So it is totally natural to think that Brienne is going to be the one to sort of speak up for Jaime. It only makes sense that way. As far as for Tyrion, Tyrion is arriving with Daenerys and Jon is not only going to have to explain, you know, this is Daenerys, I love her, we had both sex, but he's also going to have to explain, hey, this is Tyrion, he's a good dude. He helped Bran build the saddle. He explained to me that, you know, I need to wear my bastard status out on my heart on my sleeve, basically, because if I don't embrace who I am, then, you know, everyone can use that against me. Like, if Jon didn't accept the fact that he was a bastard, people would always be shoving that in his face and use it against him to sort of break him down or to stop him from doing something that, you know, he would normally have done if he had just embraced himself. So Tyrion and Jon have a bit of a history. Tyrion has never outright done anything against House Stark. You could argue that just being a part of House Lannister and partaking in the War of the Five Kings, he's done so. But as far as pushing a Stark out of the window, you know, Jaime's one-upped him on that. So Tyrion might have a little bit of leeway, especially with him arriving with Jon. But if Jaime shows up by himself with just Lannister forces and maybe, say, Bronn and Edmure, he's going to be likely thrown into a dungeon, like underneath the crypts of Winterfell, or just, obviously, there's no, okay, so does Winterfell have a dungeon? That's a question for the chat. Does Winterfell have a dungeon? I don't know if they do. I'm sure they have a place where they keep their prisoners, but maybe in the dog kennels. Yeah, Sansa would be down for that. So yeah, you guys answer me in the chat. Let me see. Where this chat, the chat box is like keeps flickering. This is probably the most annoying thing, and it does it every live stream. Oh, Terry Melendez, shout out to Terry. He is the executive producers of my video. He is late to the party, but nonetheless, welcome, sir. How are you doing? Just Chris, shout out to you, bro. I didn't even realize you were in here. What up, my dude? I met Chris last year at Con of Thrones as well. He's a good dude. Good dude. Almost made me miss my flight, but he's a good dude. Lost his license. That sucked. I was like, I want to wait for him. I'm trying to ride to the airport, but I'm about to miss my motherfucking flight. So I just dipped. Yeah, sorry about that, Chris. But yeah, continuing back on track here. Let's see. Back in episode 1, Tyrion, episode 1 shows Tyrion writing to someone, but we don't know who. I guess they're speculating, or they're insinuating that he wrote a letter to Cersei. Bronn is talked into going north with Jaime. See, this is like skipping around a lot. I should have reorganized this into easier to read thoughts. Theon tries to rescue his sister in the Iron Islands. but Euron is not there. So Yara was taken back to the Iron Islands instead of being held as like a prisoner sex slave on the ship. Nah, that's a red flag right there. Euron is not the type to leave an asset like Yara, especially in the Iron Islands. She was just fighting this motherfucker to rule the Iron Islands. Why would he bring her back there alive? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. He's either killed her or she is his prisoner and he's cut out her tongue. He might have already cut out her tongue, because if you'll watch the parts where he's walking her through the street with the fucking collar around her neck, she kind of just grunts. She doesn't really say anything. She's like, So he might have already done that. I honestly don't think that Euron is the one to give her that sweet release of death right away. He's going to torture her first. He's a rapist. He's a sodomizer. He's a fucked up dude in the books. And in the TV show, they're trying to portray him to be this fucked up character. So giving someone the sweet release of death right away before having the chance to torture him or torture her is not exactly his style. So that's another red flag there. Excuse me 1 second. Hang on 1 second. All right. And continuing on with that, just was saying, Theon tries to rescue his sister in the Iron Islands, but Euron is not there. He's got the Golden Company and is headed to Cersei. Theon plans to follow and rescue a tortured Yara. Okay, wait. Okay, so I misread that. That makes sense then. Euron has Yara with him, and Theon tries to go to the Iron Islands. Okay, so then the red flag there is that Theon is not stupid enough to go to the Iron Islands. And not to mention, there's 6 episodes, so I don't know if we have time to show Theon going somewhere and then just completely fuck that over. Like, if he goes all the way to the Iron Islands, that would mean that he would have to cross all the way around Westeros to the other fucking side, through like where the Arm of Dorne used to be, go around there to like, I guess, the Narrow Sea, and then cross into Essos that way. That's just insane. I'm not mistaken, the Iron Islands are on the other side of the map. They're not just on the coast. They're on the coastline, but on the west side of Westeros. So when everybody says what's west of Westeros, well, Lonely Light, which is part of the Iron Islands. Further west than that, you probably keep going around, you'll eventually hit Shy. So yeah, I don't know. Continuing on with this plot. Jon, Jaime, and Brienne are injured in the Winterfell battle. Tormund is killed helping save Brienne. Whoa. That kind of made me stop for a second. Like, what? Tormund's not gonna die. He's a redheaded bastard. Arya, and people, we do know that there's got to be at least one person left at the end of the show who is kissed by fire. There's no way George, being obsessed with redheads like I am, wouldn't leave at least one redhead alive. I guess you could say Sansa would be the one redhead left alive if Tormund dies. But that would mean Sansa would have to live. And I honestly don't know if I'd be okay with Sansa living and someone like Arya dying. So yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see. Arya kills many, but gets in big trouble and in the battle and ends up being saved by Jon and Jaime, because Jaime is the saving type with his one fucking hand. A bunch of people get back into the castle, and the castle is eventually surrounded, and it begins to being sieged. The moats filled by fire are bypassed by huge boulders thrown by giants. What? So there's going to be giants in this battle at Winterfell? Totally possible. They might have actually already leaked that with a massive green screen that we saw outside the Belfast set, the numeral sets that we saw outside. Green screen sets. Sorry, the tattoo that I got touched up yesterday is so fucking itchy, and I want to scratch it, but I can't. I gotta put some Aquaphor. Can't do it right now because I'm live streaming. So Rhaegal ends up getting injured in the wing by one of those huge spears. Yo, you kill my boy Rhaegal, the last dragon. I guess Rhaegal was the last dragon. Rhaegal, I want Drogon to be the last dragon, but if you fuck up Rhaegal, man, I'm gonna fuck you up. Let's see. Rhaegal is injured in the wing by one of the huge ice spears, and he ends up flying off erratically. Oh wow, that sucks. Jon didn't want Dany didn't want pregnant Dany to fight, but she does on Drogon. The dragons kill many whites, but not enough. Well, if Rhaegal flies off, what other dragons are left with Daenerys that are fighting on her side? Just the... So, see, there's like lots of... there's so many holes in this. Dany rescues many of the injured outside the castle and decides to get them inside the castle. That would be more dangerous, and she reluctantly leaves with them. The Night King on his stead does much damage. Jon ends up having to go underground and escapes like through Winterfell crypts. The end of episode 3 has Dany gone with Jon, Arya, Jaime, and the rest of the injured and has surrounded Winterfell, including Davos, Brienne, Sansa, and a bunch of others, most likely Sam, Jorah, Tyrion, Barrett, Gilly, etc. Grey Worm dies in episode 3, as do almost all of the Unsullied. So, see, here's the perfect example right here. So you have all of this information about what happens at the end of the episode, how Dany, Jon, Arya, Jaime, Davos, Brienne, Sansa, Sam, Jorah, Tyrion, Barrett, Gilly, they're all held up somewhere, but then the next fucking line is Grey Worm dies in episode 3. Grey Worm, who's been a main cast member since season 2, just dies, and you don't have any other information in it other than him just dying along with a bunch of Dothraki. How do they die? Obviously in that battle at Winterfell, but who ultimately kills them? They're not just gonna die off screen. They're most likely gonna be given an on-screen death, so that way when they're brought back as a White Walker, or a White rather, it affects us even more. There's that kind of shit just kind of pisses me off, because like, how do you have all that information about every single character being in one room by the end of the episode, but a major character dying? Oh, they just die. They just fall over and die. They just said, I'm tired of living. Like, no, dude. No. I don't believe it. Half a grain of salt, motherfucker. Oh, shit. We got a super chat. We got another super chat from Just Chris. And he said, do you get the full amount? Huh? Is that relating to what Michael's question was, which was how big is it? Just the tip. Do I get the full amount of the super chat? Yes. With the way that it works is YouTube takes 45% of your ad, or is it 35% of your ad revenue off the top. So let's just say last month I made $1,000 in ad revenue on YouTube. YouTube takes 35% of that. So they would take, like, I guess roughly $350. So that means that I would take, my take home pay would be $650. So if you donate 25, I'm not good at math, but I would keep 65% of that. So around maybe $17 or so, $16, $17. I don't know. But either way, thank you for tossing that super chat, and I think I answered your question. Continuing on here. I think we only have a few more things. Because after Grey Worm dies, there's only one paragraph left. Euron presses Cersei for marriage, but not a sealed deal yet. The last we see of them, she leads him to bed. Also, she tells him she is pregnant with Jaime's child. He says he doesn't care. Bran has a couple more visions, one where he now understands what needs to be done, and presumably this is one of the things he needs to tell Jon. That's another thing too. Alright, so you're telling me we have confirmed last season that Daenerys and Jon Snow are a prince that was promised, Azor Ahai. They both fit the prophecy. Why the fuck is Bran not getting visions in every single one of these plot leaks? Every single one of them. They all mention Bran getting visions, and he finds out the answer. He discovers everything, and Bran is just the key to the finale. If this is the case, why in the flying fuck does he not have any visions about Daenerys? He does, in the sense that, yeah, they're having both sex, but no one is mentioning that he has a vision of Daenerys and that she's actually Azor Ahai, because honestly, if you want to break it down onto the farthest level, Daenerys is more Azor Ahai than Jon Snow. Yes, Jon Snow was resurrected by the Lord of Light, but Daenerys withstood fire. She has been through so much, and she literally has the living incarnation of Lightbringer, that being the two dragons. She is a champion of her lore, and she is also the princess who was promised. So I don't understand why Bran's not getting visions about him. We do know that Melisandre thinks that her and Jon Snow are of that prophecy. So why is it that Bran's not getting it? People forget that. They're like, oh, Daenerys is just gonna stand there and do this and do that. No, like, she's a fucking promised one too. So why is Bran not getting visions about her? Bran should be learning just as much about her as he is about Jon, because they're both equal parts to the fucking thing. So why? I don't know. It just frustrates me, because I honestly am a very cynical person, especially when it comes to plot leaks. I just look for the bullshit in all of them. So, you know, that's what I'm going to be doing in these plot leak videos. Like, it's going to be so much more in-depth. It's going to be edited. I'm not just going to put up, like, a picture of the plot leak or whatever, like, how I have been doing in my past couple videos. It's going to be legit. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to just smash these, like, fucking Robbie B on the battle. Oh, smashing out Rhaegar's ruby emeralds. Speaking of which, do you guys think ruby emeralds? Yeah, because that's a thing. That's like saying, hey, check out these gold diamonds over here. That is a thing. Gold ring with diamonds on it. All right, super sidetracked. But yeah, I'm gonna smash through these plot leaks like Robert Baratheon at the Battle of the Trident, smashing the boy Rhaegar in the chest. But quick question: do you guys think that Rhaegar, because there's so much mentioning of rubies glistening, and we do know that rubies are used for glamour in the novels, do you guys think that Rhaegar was glamored and to look like someone else, and that was maybe Gerald Hightower that got killed at the Battle of the Trident? Someone was asking me about that, and I did a little bit more research into it. There is heavy mention of it just, I know that George kind of obsesses over certain shit when he's writing, like food, for example. Oh my god, man. Every time I read a fucking chapter where there's a bigger character eating food, I get hungry. Like, one of my favorite descriptions of food is when Tyrion meets Illyrio Mopatis. Oh my god, I get so fucking hungry. They're talking about, like, shit that I don't even like. Like, I'm not a big fan of mushrooms. I like mushrooms, but I'm not the type of person that goes, oh, I need mushrooms on everything. And there are people that love mushrooms like that. But he describes these buttery mushroom caps that could potentially be poisonous in such an insane way that I'm like, bro, can someone saute me some fucking mushroom caps, like, right now? You know what I mean? I don't know. He's fucking talented at that. And we got another super chat. This is a super chat from Kathleen Bassett, and thank you for that, madam. She says €5. Huh? The message says €5. Thank you for that super chat, madam. If you have a question, type it in the chat, and I will answer it. All right, and I think that was it. The last thing, the plot leaks. Wait, no, there was one more thing. Jon and Dany in the crypts, they look at Lyanna, and Jon ends up telling her the story about Rhaegar raping and kidnapping Lyanna. And Dany says, that doesn't sound like what she heard about her brother. That's fucking hilarious. That doesn't sound like what I think I heard about my brother from a guy who's no longer alive, who may or may not have known him. We do know that Barristan Selmy knew Rhaegar, but I'm just saying, like, it's just funny. Like, you're... John's like, I heard this story. Your brother Rhaegar was a fucking rapist, and he raped my aunt, who's secretly my mom. And she goes, well, that doesn't sound like something that I heard about a person who I'd never met before, who the other person who told me about that person that I've never met may have actually never met that person either. Oh, the comedy never ends. Dany says, that doesn't sound like Rhaegar. Jon says, it doesn't matter anyway. We need to get past the past and all pull together. What? Johnny Boy says we need to get past the past. What? No, that doesn't sound like Jon at all. Jon will say we need to learn from the past. The significance of whether Lyanna got raped or not doesn't necessarily matter to this day and age, but Jon's just not going to let that go. Jon's not someone who lets rape go out the window. It's going to make him want to discover more, you know. And honestly, I think what that line is alluding to, what they're trying to do, is that they're hinting at the fact that there's something more there. The story that you hear of Lyanna getting raped and taken prisoner is not exactly, you know, it's not exactly the case. We have Littlefinger mentioning that to Sansa. Sansa now knows a little bit of that version of the story. Bran obviously knows 100% the truth. And then you have Barristan Selmy telling Daenerys, I think it was back in season 5, how Rhaegar used to walk through the crowd and sing to people, and he was such a good singer, he would get tips. He would take those tips and donate them to charity. That does not sound like someone who's a rapist. So Daenerys is using that to kind of be like, well, that doesn't sound like my bro. And I feel like that could be, you know, sort of like just insinuating that, hey, that story of Rhaegar and Lyanna is not necessarily 100. But I don't think Jon's going to say, let's forget the past. He's going to say that's not something that we need to be focusing on now, but he's definitely not going to say, let's erase it, or like, let's forget about it. No, not at all. I honestly think that will be his attitude towards when he finds out about his lineage. He's going to dwell on it. It's going to make him very upset, because obviously he's in love with Daenerys, but ultimately he's still going to continue doing what he's doing. He's going to look at it as just another thing in his life that he gets shit on, that he's not able to enjoy like everyone else. Like Jon Snow is offered the leadership. He doesn't really want it. He ultimately becomes the Lord Commander, but then when he does what he sees in his mind as the right thing, he gets screwed over and gets killed. So I honestly feel like, and that's another thing too, I feel like the show kind of screwed that arc of Jon being changed by his death. They screwed that up and threw it out the window. They didn't do a good enough job of showing you how Jon Snow has changed. He didn't really change. He's honestly the exact same. If anything, he's a little bit more motivated to do what's best for House Stark. That's about it. I was looking forward to internal conflicts, maybe Jon just falling to the dark side a little bit, you know, kind of like, oh man, I would love to, whatever. But anyway, totally forgot what the fuck I was just. I don't even know. Looks like you guys are having fun in the chat, though. I just saw someone typing moist. What? Moist what? No. Kyle, the boy Kyle, what'd you say? Moist. My girlfriend fucking hates that word. She hates moist. I don't know. She's like, it's the oist. You guys seen that Dane Cook stand up where he talks about how women hate that word? Oh my god, it's so funny. Moist. Gary O'Neill, my butcher. We'll just jump into the chat because I think I covered everything on that part of the plot leak, and I don't want to cover too much more because, like I said, I am going to be doing videos on those where I thoroughly bash the shit out of them, like the boy Robert. On an open field, Ned, an open field. Now that doesn't sound anything like Robert, but it's an aggressive British voice. I look at it. All right, so chat. Start typing in your Q&As. Let's get this Q&A popping off. Taking some questions, and then we will be wrapping it up because we are right at 1 hour. Harry McDonald, what's up? How you doing? Forrest Blurta. Why am I going mute sometimes? Am I going mute? Oh, fucking A. Is it because I'm taking my voice away from the mic? Am I? Anybody else hear that? Am I going mute? Helen L says, am I the only one who thinks that Mark has a really attractive and soothing voice? I've had people tell me that I have an attractive voice before, or that I sound completely different than how I look, but I've never heard anyone tell me I have a soothing voice. Is this soothing to you? How aggressive I talk. Q&A. Let's do it. Let's get them Q&As coming. Q&A. What is going on with Jaqen? Jaqen Hagar is dead as a motherfucker. Not too much going on with him. Is Littlefinger still alive? I want to believe. Honestly, bitch ass crying Littlefinger. That is a good way. Okay, so yeah, it is just because I'm stopping talking. Yeah, I have this thing called a noise gate on my microphone right now, where if I don't make more than 0.65 decibels of sound, it goes mute just like this. So it sounds like the audio completely cuts out, but really that's just a safety factor so that you guys don't have to hear me breathing like this. But yeah, continuing on answering your question, we want more boom boom. Is Littlefinger still alive? I hate Littlefinger with a fucking passion. So having him die out like a little bitch and getting just his throat cut and just going, Sans, I love you. You know, that was perfect for me. I'm completely satisfied with that. But what I am not satisfied with is the fact that if I take away my bias and look at Littlefinger as a whole, he's a manipulative, insanely deceptive character that can always see shit coming 5 miles in advance. He might not have been able to see when Cersei flexed her power on him. That was like my favorite scene with Cersei. But he can see shit coming. So if this is the case, as soon as he finds out that Arya is a faceless man, when he sees her holding her own against Brienne in my favorite scene of all of Game of Thrones, when he sees that, he realizes, okay, this little girl is not exactly normal. She's a faceless man. He is aware of Braavosi traditions and customs. He knows who the faceless men are for the simple fact that his grandfather hails from Braavos, so his lineage comes from down there. So I'm pretty sure he grew up listening to the tales of who the faceless men were, who the Braavosi were, and how they founded Braavos and all this other good shit. So he knows 100% how to get in touch with him. I'm sure that that's who that person was that came to Winterfell, and that's who took his place as dying. So yes, there is a completely like, you know, maybe 5 to 10% chance that he's still alive. I just don't know if we have time for that on the show. I would love to see him show up after the end credit scene. Everyone's dead, right? Wouldn't that suck if every single character died? Like, it wouldn't be completely out of theme with Game of Thrones, because we do know that, you know, that's everyone dies. But anyway, everyone's dead. Then we get like these panned out shots, and then out comes Littlefinger out of the fucking shadows, sitting to reign supreme as King of the Ashes. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah. With swears in all enthusiastic voice. Littlefinger is history. All right, okay, I can do that for you guys. All right, here we go. And then send in some more questions, because I'm gonna be wrapping this up. What is it? I think that you're listening to Sir Hunt's podcast. Really? You're listening to a mix of Sean Connery, Littlefinger, Sansa. Sansa, give me a kiss. Give Daddy a kiss, Sansa. That's all I got. I know, sweary mark is the best. Fuck it, I mean, they already demonetized this before I even started, so fuck it. Might as well. Honestly, talking about demonetization in a video gets it demonetized nowadays. So I can't even mention it in my videos. But yeah. Dragons or White Walkers, who came first? That's a good one. You honestly wouldn't need dragons without White Walkers. Like dragons are used to conquer, and there wouldn't be anyone with a credible threat. So maybe the White Walkers were raised to fight the dragons then. That's obviously not how it works, and that's not what history says. But, you know, I'm just kind of thinking, rationalizing my own train of thoughts here. Like, who came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, the chicken couldn't have just naturally appeared, so you debate it on the egg. I don't know. That's a good one. I would say dragons came first. Just going off of history, we do know that the Valyrian freehold was a thing. Long Night didn't happen. Well, it did happen over in Essos, so yeah, I don't know. I would say, honestly, dragons came first. Later, Smokeahanas. We're gonna be wrapping up here too. Grace's coloring corner says George Martin likes to kill off characters. Sam, Gilly, and Little Sam will probably live. Sam is George Martin in Grace. I'm going to link to you in the description a video that I did covering that theory. Watch it if you like. Excuse my weird, creepy, long, drawn out sigh. Fuck, how long ago did I do that video? I thought it was like I thought it would be on the first page. No, I've been doing like a video every 2 days since fucking the show went out. Okay, here we go. January 10th was when I did this video. At least it was this year though. Yeah, I'm gonna at least drop it in the chat for you real quick. But yeah, so I honestly think that these plot leaks, to say the very least about them, they are entertaining. They do kind of fulfill that I need some more extra Game of Thrones stuff, because what ends up happening is they make me sort of like, it opens up my mind to maybe different things happening, you know? But most of the time I just bash the shit out of them, and I take them with, like I say at the beginning of all my videos when I do those, take them with less than a grain of salt. Not even a full grain of salt, because honestly that adds a little bit of flavor. Half a grain of salt, it's nothing. You wouldn't even notice that shit hit your food. So half a grain of salt works better. QnA, will we ever see a shy at all? I would love to see a shy by maybe the end of episode 4. I know that was really specific, but I feel like there's a certain, we have to see Melisandre in Essos. She's not just gonna show back up with the Red Priest. We do know that there is a Temple of R'hllor in Volantis, and that's most likely where she is headed to. But who's to say that she doesn't want to just go back to Asshai, because she knows that she can get even more access to more types of people who would be willing to help, you know, Daenerys, who is the incarnate of fire. Or I guess, I honestly think that when Melisandre goes to Volantis, she's going to be more so speaking on behalf of Jon, and that may not make all of the Red Priests join them, because we do know that they chose Daenerys as the Lord of Light. They didn't see Jon Snow get resurrected by R'hllor. They saw Daenerys, they saw her dragons, they realized that she's living fire, so they're going to be more on her side. So when Melisandre goes over there, she's going to be more of an advocate for Jon. So she's going to be explaining that Jon is the chosen one. Jon led this insane battle. He was killed by his own men, and he was ultimately brought back by R'hllor. He is the chosen one of R'hllor. He is the prince that was promised. So a lot of those priests over there in Volantis are on Dany's side, because we know that Kinvara, who is the high priestess of that temple in Volantis, she is all about Daenerys. So she's likely going to go and help, but it's going to be strictly because of Daenerys. It's not going to be like, you know, because Jon. QnA, do you think any of the two, Jon and Daenerys, die by the end of... Yeah, honestly, one of them has to die. I doubt we'll get both of them living. I would love to have both of them living, but if both of them are living, it would have to be something crazy like... Oh, you know what? You know what would make them perfect couple? If Daenerys dies and then is brought back by Melisandre or Kinvara. So then both of them have died and then been re-brought back as, you know, champions of R'hllor. If this is the case, maybe if Daenerys dies and then is brought back and filled with fire that she already is, maybe that heals her completely, and maybe that's when she's able to get pregnant. Maybe she's not able to get pregnant until then. I don't know. We do know that Targaryen sperm can do marvelous things, like make generations of inbred bastards who want to burn them all. Burn them all. And on that note, one last question. Is Sweet Robin Littlefinger's son, and what would be his overall plan to become king? Amari Jackaway. I answered that question in my video from the other day. Why are you trying to sneak it in here again? I answered that the other day, but look, I'm going to answer it for a second time for you, good madam or good sir, whichever one you are. Honestly, yes. I 100% think that Sweet Robin is Littlefinger's child in the TV show. The main reason being because well, just mainly Robin kind of looks like Littlefinger, and it would make sense that since Littlefinger is such a corrupt and manipulating dude, that when he goes to have a child, his child is scorned in the way, or like, not scorned, but just sort of like a degenerate in this. What the fuck? Christ, can you not do that right now? So sidetracked. He's a late bloomer. We'll just say that. And that would make sense that, you know, that sort of like, guess you can say that with Tyrion and Tywin. Tyrion being Tywin's one true son, and that being Tywin's bane because of the mistakes and the evil shit that Tywin did. At least that's what the Mad King thinks. I don't know if it'll even be addressed on the show though. I honestly feel like there's certain characters like what was it? The actress Ellie Kemper. No, Ellie Kemper is fucking the replacement secretary on The Office. It's Aaron on the no, not Ellie Kemper. Ellie Kendrick, maybe? The actress who plays Mira Reed. She said that she is not going to be on the show anymore. If this is the case, and she's not going to be on the show, and honestly she has more of an important role than little fucking Robin, I don't know. I feel like he should be one of those characters who's just no longer addressed. We have his army. His army is loyal to Sansa. We don't really need him anymore. Maybe if they go back to the Vale and they want to keep certain people safe there, which would totally make sense because we know that the Vale has never been penetrated ever in its history because of the giant cliffs that surround it. It's impossible to mount a good defense against it. You won't even be able to get through the bloody fucking gate. But I don't know, that'd be the only way that that'd be brought back into the picture, and then maybe that would be brought up where it's like, you know, technically you should be removed from power, little boy, because your father is, you weren't born of House Aaron, so technically you shouldn't be given this castle. But I don't know, I feel like he should be one of those characters that they just sort of leave off. QnA, do you think, and this will be the last question that I'm going to answer, QnA, do you think the Night King is half Targaryen, half Stark, and Jon is his equal in that aspect, therefore the only one who can defeat him? I've mentioned that before, not him being half Targaryen and half Stark, but him being of House Stark, and Jon Snow being a legitimate member of House Targaryen. That's why they sort of are equal / opposites. Like you have one Jon Snow being fire and then him being ice. Same with Daenerys. I don't think that the Night King, who he is as much significance as the reason why he was created. The reason why he's created is more important, I feel like, that should be addressed on the TV show. Like, why was he made? And that kind of already was addressed, but I feel like we need to know more about that. It would be awesome to find out that he was like, I mean, there's never been a like combined House Stark and House Targaryen person before. That's never been mentioned in the history of Ice and Fire. But I mean, if there's a possibility. We do know that Torrhen Stark was set to like combine. He wanted to share his house with House Targaryen. He wanted to wed their two houses together. I don't think that existence has, like, that sort of thing, that combination of Ice and Fire has happened previous to Jon. Like, Jon is the first incarnation of that. It's possible. Targaryens did sleep with all of the major houses, so it is possible that it happened at some point and we just don't know about it. I just think the more important story with the Night King is not necessarily where he comes from, but who he was that made the Children of the Forest do what they did to him. So I guess that is kind of where he comes from. I don't know. Either way, I hope I answered your question. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please slap a like on this video. Make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and turn your notifications on. And also, follow me on Twitter, so that way you get alerted for sure every time I drop a Game of Thrones video. YouTube has this terrible policy of not telling you guys whenever I upload or whenever just a new video drops. So please, make sure you have those notifications turned on here on the channel. And also, follow me over on Twitter, so that way you can, like, because as soon as I post a video, 2 minutes later, it's posted on Twitter. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for the motherfreaking super chats. I'll do one more group shout out, everyone that's still in the chat right now. And then, yeah, Danny McKay, Amari, Forrest, Jordy, Helen, Chris, Carrie, Mel, Nikolai, SpankTube, Terry Melendez, The Fifth Direction, and Turmoil. Thank you all so much for chilling with me on this lovely Sunday afternoon. I hope to see you all. I think give me till Tuesday to get that first plot leak video up. But that's not going to be the focus on content. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be shifting. We're gonna still be doing just as many Game of Thrones videos that I have, which is 3 videos a week. Those are still gonna be here, but we're also gonna be verging into Infinity War, because yeah, that's what we do over here. We gotta keep it moving. But yeah, thank you all so much for your wonderful super chats. Thank you all so much for typing in the chat and chilling with me here. I love you all. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Review. Dragon sound.